if I can speak this way, the goal of the world is demoralization of you, of love, of kindness, of family, of hope, of faith and spirituality. Like, that's the goal of the world. The goal of the world is to beat you down and destroy love, perverse love, make love not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to demoralize us and destroy our kindness to each other, thanks to the mainstream media. They destroy the family. I don't even need to go there. The family unit is being destroyed. There is a war on the family unit. I've built many startups. Most of them have failed. So Bitcoin is exactly the place that I like to be. We're going to end it right there. So I'm going to start off today's podcast with an interesting question. And I don't expect that all of you have experienced this, but certainly this is something that I do because I am who I am. But have any of you guys ever deeply watched, intently watched someone engage in conversation so that you could see some of the aesthetics and subtle nuances of how they respond to other people engaging and talking with them? Probably not. Probably not. But if, sometimes you just end up just watching people, right? Well, I do this a lot. And it's because I'm a trained consultant. I'm a communicator by nature. And for me, I'm big into active listening, watching everything, and being able to pick up on the subtle cues, the subtle movements, the subtle behaviors of an individual as to how they respond and engage and work with others. And so then I can ask questions to that. And actually, it's one of the secrets to business and relationships is great active listeners are so effective at being able to bring people together to solve problems and be able to counsel and help others because they can see the entire picture, right? One of the things that obviously social media or any type of online mechanism lacks is real-time engagement, right? It's asynchronous. There's no way to see especially the physical, right? It's no way to really see how they respond physically to how you engage with them, and that's why there's trolls, and that's why there's all sorts of people online who just like to talk shit. Anyway, here's my point. I was participating in a conversation in which there are multiple participants in this conversation, and I'm just actively listening. So one of the individuals in this conversation, he was the owner of a car, and he was anticipating hopefully some really good news from the mechanics because he had some major issues with his race car, and I was there. And so we were talking before, as we were walking together to go see the car, and he was hopeful. He seemed hopeful. He was hoping that everything would be all right and this car would be able to be back on the track as soon as possible. And as the mechanic began to talk with him, I was, this is not my car. I'm just his buddy. I'm his friend there, and I'm just there. And as the mechanic's talking with him, I'm just actively listening. Right? I'm just actively listening. I'm there, and I'm watching my friend engage and see how he's responding to the mechanic. And it was really interesting, and this is not something that I had been able to pick up on before. But anytime the engineer said something that was a little discouraging, it was a little like, oh man, like I saw my friend flinch. Now, this wasn't like a dramatic flinch, like, oh man, really, that's fucked up. That part of the car is broken, really? No, it wasn't like a dramatic. It was he was just listening. And as the mechanic said these negative things and these things that weren't going well with the car, I could see my friend in a very subtle way, and it was in his face, flinch. And it was like this such a subtle flinch of like, oh fuck, man, really? And then the mechanic's continuing talking. And the mechanic talk, want, negative, flinch. Want, talk, negative, flinch. It was like this really subtle movement that I witnessed. Now, this, and in and of itself, it means nothing. In and of itself, it means nothing. But I wrote a note down. After the conversation, I got into my phone and I wrote a note down, as I always do whenever ideas spring to my mind that I want to talk about with you guys, I wrote a note down about discouragement. Discouragement. And how discouragement over time can create these types of flinches, these types of reactions, these types of responses that slowly kill us, that slowly destroy us over time. And I know that you know what I'm talking about here. So let's get into it. You see, I was a corporate consultant for over 12 years, going in and out of executive rooms, executive boardrooms, team rooms, and generally the information technology or development or engineering group of large Fortune companies. And one of the things that is oh so real and oh so true in the world of corporate America is this death by 1,000 cuts. Death by 1,000 cuts, or just dying 1,000 deaths is what happens in corporate America. And you might say, well, Peter, what are you talking about? What does that mean? Well, it's the constraints of corporate experience. It's the constraints of corporate work. How many times you've been slapped down? How many times have you been said no to? You can't do it. I won't do it. You shouldn't do it. No. Or they don't listen. You know what happens over time in corporate America? You get beaten down. You are no longer incentivized to have courage because you've been discouraged for so long, especially the longer that you have been there at that company. Right? And this creates the salty engineer, the Dilbert-esque, the Scott Adams Dilbert-esque type of engineer, the apathetic engineer who's just like, it doesn't matter what I do and what I say. I just need to put my head down and just do whatever they want me to do, and then I'm out of here. Frictionless. But the problem with this is that they're dead inside. This 1,000 deaths, death by 1,000 cuts of discouragement. It sucks the courage out of a man. It sucks the courage out of a woman. You no longer have the ability to express yourself fully because behavior patterns have shown in this corporate experience that you are not being listened to. They don't care about you. Shut up, stay in your lane, and frankly, let's be honest, you're just here so you don't get fined. You're just here so you don't get fired. I mean, isn't that the point? Isn't that the point of the current corporate experience? I think this is the usual circumstance, right? I think this is the usual circumstance in life when you're not in your lane. How long are you going to wait to be who you really want to be? How long are you going to wait to do what you really want to do? You have died by 1,000 cuts, 1,000 no's, 1,000 you can'ts, 1,000 you won'ts, 1,000 we're not listening to you, 1,000 no's, 1,000 slaps on the wrist. You have died by 1,000 of those, right? And since you're not in your lane, you are in purgatory. You have no more courage because you've been discouraged 1,000 ways. We all need courage, is what I'm trying to say. We all need courage. Don't underestimate your ability to dispense courage. We all need it. I need it. Courage is something that all people need. Courage is something that we all need. It's not a want, it's a need, right? I mean, your kind words, your warm smile are encouraging. Your presence by being with another and just merely by even smiling or just being kind can be ridiculously encouraging to not only others, but yourself. Fuck, man, I'm like, the kind, I am still working, if I'm going to be 100% honest here, guys, I am still working on being kind. It is effort. Okay. I probably shouldn't be admitting this, but it is effort for me to be kind. It is effort for me. It takes effort for me to be kind. And the reason is because of a podcast I previously had, right, about expectations and about taking myself and my life too seriously sometimes, taking my own work too seriously. Is that I'm a grinder. Like, that's what I do. Like, I'm your best running back. I'm your best running back you'll ever find for a team. I'm your type of dude that just put your head down, put your helmet on, and fucking run, right? Like, no time for kindness. Let's get shit done. Like, man. So your kind words. I hope these are kind for you guys. These kind words. I'm still learning. Your warm smile, your presence with another can be encouraging to other people. Give courage. Do it. Your generosity to other people gives courage. Your listening ear, actively listening to them, gives people courage. Your investment of time, the wisdom that you can dispense, your encouragement builds up others. And so, my point today is don't stop dispensing courage. Don't stop being encouraging. Again, it's like a self-programming thing. We've talked about this before, right? Program yourself to dispense courage, to be encouraging, because you'll receive that back. Go back to one of my podcasts, and giving self-esteem helps you get even more self-esteem back, right? Builds up confidence. It's a similar idea, right? The world will tears us down. Does it not? Does it not? Does not the world tear us down? I mean, I don't even watch TV. We don't even have cable. And I know the world tears you down because I'm on the internet. I'm on YouTube, guys. YouTube is the best place. If you ever, and I've said this before, and I'll say it 1,000 more times before the day I die. If you want to understand, please, if you want to understand the entire spectrum of the human experience, and if you want to experience the entire spectrum of human personality options, make a YouTube channel and don't quit. Keep producing content that's close to your heart. And I guarantee you, 100%, you will experience the entire spectrum of humanity. What do I mean by that? Is you will have people, if you give and you make, let me make it really simple, guys. Number one, if you make a YouTube, number one, and number two, you don't quit, and number three, you just talk about whatever that's close to your heart, and you do that for a while, a good long while, you will experience the entire spectrum of humanity. You will find people that will say, oh my gosh, I'm so happy, I'm so glad I found your YouTube channel, you saved my life. And they'll be dead, fucking serious as cancer, serious, like serious, right? And you'll have people that say, man, I found you in the nick of time, thanks so much, this was really encouraging, I'm never gonna come back, but man, I needed this today. Blessings. You'll meet those people. You'll also meet people who will say, fuck you, I hate you, go die. And you say, well, that's mean. No, you don't know mean. Stay a while. Keep pushing content to the web. You'll find people who say even worse stuff. They'll say shit like, fuck, I hope you die. I hope everyone in your family has cancer. And I hope, it's like, why? Why the vitriol? Why the anger? Telling you, they need courage because they probably most likely have died 1,000 deaths. Death by 1,000 discouraging ideas. The world wants to tear us down, destroy us, make us nothing, right? The goal of the world, if I can speak this way, the goal of the world is demoralization of you, of love, of kindness, of family, of hope, of faith and spirituality. Like, that's the goal of the world. The goal of the world is to beat you down and destroy love, perverse love, make love not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to demoralize us and destroy our kindness to each other, thanks to the mainstream media. They destroy the family. I don't even need to go there. The family unit is being destroyed. There is a war on the family unit. The demoralization of hope. You turn on the news, guys. Clearly, the world's burning, right? Faith and spirituality. Oh man, I don't even want to go that far into this idea, but I'll tell you this. The goal of the world is to demoralize, remove, destroy faith and spirituality. We are not physical creatures who just so happen to have some sort of conscience. We are spiritual creatures. We are spiritual creatures that just so happen to have a body of meat flesh. That's what we really are. And that's all I'll say there. Courage, guys. Courage is the food for the soul. Courage is food for the soul. It's satisfying, right? It is literally, actually, this is a great metaphor. It is this food for the soul. It's satisfying, just like food is, but food exhausts quickly. Food goes away quickly, gets digested. You need more food over time, just like we need more courage over time, to be encouraged over time. And I don't expect you or me or anyone that's listening to this to go out and suddenly become an encourager, a massive encourager, and just spending time and just giving of ourselves all over the place. It's not going to happen. But you know that you need courage. You know that you've been discouraged 1,000 ways, right? And so choose what you can do out of the list that I wrote down here, right? Being kind, having a warm smile, just being present, being generous, or being a listening ear. Invest some of your time or your knowledge or your wisdom in someone else, right? These are many options. Choose one. Choose one. Choose one that you can do and encourage someone else so that you may be encouraged. And to be quite frank, you know what encourages me every day? Being able to do this to the internets, do these podcasts, and then receive your feedback on comments. And in our behind the scenes group, the Bitcoin Lambo podcast, Things I Didn't Learn in School. I receive because I give. I know it's a novel idea, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. Encourage others. Choose something. Who do you need to encourage today? This is Peter, the Bitcoin Lambo. If you enjoyed this episode, smash the like button, subscribe, and please share this encouraging, hopefully, podcast with someone that you know. Peace out, guys.